I never thought I would experience this myself firsthand, um, in regards to trans women, um, wanting to date straight men. For the record, um, I accept people as who they are. I'm gonna have my own opinion, and my opinion shouldn't dictate what you should or shouldn't do in your life. Because you have your opinion, I have my opinion, and every opinion should be respected to a degree. So there are women out there that have their dating preference, and there are men out there that have their dating preferences. And some men like them big, big boob, big butt, um, both. Some women like tall men, average size men, or short men. Some like them with six packs, some like them with a bare belly or dad bod, as they say. And some, like them black, some like them white, some like them Spanish, some like them older, some like them young, which is cool. There's a whole list of preferences that someone could check off a box and say, this is what I would like to be dating, you know. And for the record, I have friends that come from all walks of life, whether they're men that like other men and women that like other women, or in between. And I have some friends that are transitioning. I'm really trying to be nice here, but I'm no 10. I'm like a solid 4.5 on a good day. Maybe a 6.5 if I wear a nice suit, or wear a nice outfit or something. You know, but I still have my preferences. Um, I recently got a part time job, and there's this person that I constantly run into, and when she says hello, I say hello back, and we strike up a conversation. We talk about whatever comes to mind. Mostly it's soccer or anime, because I like soccer. I don't play it, not anymore. I haven't played it since 1951. But I still like to watch the game. I'll watch soccer before you'll catch me watching soccer before you watching me watching any sport. Well, that and tennis. I also love tennis too. Um, and I'm a nerd, and I love anime. I loved anime since um, I saw Krillin do the Destructo disc on an intro on Toonami back in what 1996, 1997, maybe. I was at my grandmother's house, so yeah, I loved anime for a long time, and that's what we talked about. And rejection is hard. It's hard for me. It's hard for everyone. It's tough to accept that you're not someone's type. And this trans person is a nice person, you know. Um, I've only known this person for a month, but you know, they seem like cool people that I would actually go out and have a drink, go bowling or something like that, you know. But with all due respect, I wouldn't take it further than that. And that should be okay. When this person asked me out to dinner, I told them I was like, hey, like I really can't be going out because, I'm kind of strapped right now. And then they said, well, I'll pay for the dinner. And I'm like, okay, well, I still have a lot of things to do because my car, needs a tune up, so I can't take it too far. And my tools is at my other friend's house. So, I normally do the maintenance myself, you know, and, the person, after I told them about, my situation, the person was like, yeah, I like you and I would like to, you know, get to know you more. So I asked, I was like, yeah, as friends. And they said, you know, friends, but eventually more than that. So respectfully, um, I told them I was like, no, I'm sorry, like, no offense to you, but that's just not my vibe. So then this person has the nerve to say, is it because I'm trans? Well, I was being nice, but I said no. Um, it's not because you're trans. It's, I told him I was like, because you're just not my type. I told him like, I'll respect you, you know, but I can't see myself doing things further than just being a friend. I'll be more than happy to be your friend. We go play Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, Monopoly, you know, talk about anime, whatever, but anything further than that, I respectfully have boundaries. Now, what pissed me off is this person said that I'm transphobic. They said it's transphobic to not want to date someone because they're trans. It took everything in my whole entire fiber and being to not educate them, but I told them, I was like, hey, You know, everyone has a type. And it just so happens that I'm not your type. Someone else out there might be wanting to take things further, but me personally, you know, I can't. And, you know, putting all that aside, that's the thing with this new alphabet mafia thing that's going on today. You know, they want you to they want you to accept who they are, even though we know the truth. Kind of like a flat earther. You know, they believe up and down that the world is flat, and even though there's scientific research dating back to ancient Greece, I guess, you know, that the world is round. You know, time and time again, you know, the world is round. But there are people out there that believe the world is flat, and they want to convince you that the world is flat. When we look up at the sky is blue. You know, and then there are people that say there is no color in the sky. It's just the magnetosphere reflecting off of the water or something, something, something. You know, which I could see the logic behind that, but what we see physically is what we see. And you can't tell me otherwise that the sky isn't blue. You know? And people get genuinely upset that you don't want to believe in what they believe in. If you are trans, kind of like flat earth, if you are trans and you're telling me that you are a trans man or a trans woman, in the back of my head, I'm going to dismiss that because that's my opinion. That's my preference. I would acknowledge and agree with you just for the sake of argument, but you can't convince me or most of the 80% of the population otherwise. You know? And then there's a friend that I was in this group home called St. Francis Home for Children in New Haven, Connecticut. And I'm not going to put his name out there, but we've been friends for a while until I left the program and moved to Massachusetts to another group home that DCF put me in. But this kid that I'm friends with is we recently met up with each other, or not met up, but we we found each other on Facebook, And he he says, "Yeah, I'm gay," and I'm like, well, I already knew that you were from the the very moment that I first met you when we were kids, you know. So I acknowledge and I accept that. And then he goes off the rails and asks me for a nude. So I told him, I was like, I'm sorry, but I only send that to women. And then he's like, yeah, I respect that. You know, the fact that I respect other men's wishes, they still reward me with something. And I'm like, well, that's nice and all, but, no matter how you try to explain it, it's not going to change my mind to give another dude a nude. There are some dudes out there that are down low and they don't want their family knowing, even though it's 2025. They don't want their family knowing, or they don't want to live with that guilt. And maybe you could provide services that their girlfriends or wives can't provide. Doesn't mean that I'm that way. My heart belongs to someone right now. And even if it didn't, I still have my preferences. I've been I've been watching porn for uh since forever. I got a hold of my uncle's stash, and it opened up a whole new meaning of life for me since then. And because of that, if all else fails, that's what I would go to if I can't get any action. And I told him that, and he's like, I'll pull up these messages right now. So, to make this short, um, so he says that his body count is over 588. So I said, there's no way humanly possible that that's possible, because you know you'd either have to be a porn star, or you would have to um pretty much date men and women and travel abroad for that. So he says, I could back this up, and my boyfriend could back this up too. They're in an open relationship, so um, I guess they sleep with each other and they sleep with others, but they still come back home to each other. So, I asked them, that aside, where have you been? And he said that his Facebook was hacked, so he had to get a new Facebook, and he apologizes. Then I said, well, I guess I can consider myself lucky to never have that happening to me, though it's never too late, because I guess it could happen. Then he says, yes, true, but I'm here for whenever you want to tell me why you can't. I'm able to accept shit. I'm an adult. I can accept reasons with details. So I told him why I'm not going to send him anything is, I was like, oh, well, for starters, you're a guy. I know that was a long shot, but like you said, a closed mouth never gets fed. I only send it to women, and women who are willing to send nudes in return. But at the same time, not just any women, it's just women that I'm trying to be involved with. So I'm not involved with any women, you know, I'm still trying to. Anyways. And 3, I'll do it, but people would have to pay. I'm also thinking about an OnlyFans. I doubt I'll be successful, but that's the only time I'll send a nude is if I had an OnlyFans, which I don't. And then he said, fair enough, but I figure since you knew me and we used to play with each other, I'd be able to see one pic. So now he's kind of feeling entitled to one. Kind of like how trans feel that they're entitled as well too. So he says, but again, I gotta respect your decisions and boundaries. Then he says, see, so I'm being usually gets the straight men to respect me more and trust me more and be willing to open up more to others. That's part of it too, manners. I'm not seeing you, I'm seeing the ones in my past, because I won't push some guys. So they usually reward me for my respect of boundaries and their decisions. So somehow I ended up getting it anyways because I was a prince about things. So then he says, as I respect your decision, and many of us, what? As I respect your decision, I was touched by a staff member, but we won't unpack that altar boy. Pump the brakes. So then I just left him on red because now he's trying to pull some Jedi mind tricks to want me to do things that I don't want to do. Kind of like how trans women want to date a straight man but get mad that a straight man don't want to like them back or accept them as a flat earther. So as I left them on red, I responded back and I was like, well, you know, if push comes to shove, you could always get a nude from your man. And he says, I'm 34, not 10. I'm not going to cry over it. Yes, indeed. Like I said, I'm okay. I wasn't really expecting a full news spread. Most I generally expected was an underwear pic with a bulge slightly and a shirtless torso. The fuck? At first, this is usually all that straight men are comfortable with. okay, in my opinion, straight men aren't straight if they're willing to tiptoe across that line. Like people say, dating a trans woman won't make you gay. Who are we trying to convince? Me or yourself? So then I responded, well, I guess I'm not like most straight men. So then he responded, exactly. You're you and that's okay. So then I left him on red again, and then he said, thank you. So I changed the subject and I was like, do you play video games? And then he said, yes, mostly RPGs. What game you playing? I told him I'm playing FIFA or soccer, and I mostly play shooter games, and then that's it. So he was trying to convince me to do something that I don't want to do, and that it's okay because other straight men do it themselves. So I respect him. He's not my best friend, but he's still a friend nonetheless, and he hasn't lied to me, betrayed me, beat me up when I was a kid. You know, most of our friendship was like pre-teen anyway. Like I met him when I was 11, and then at the age of like 13, I went to Brightside in Massachusetts. So, you know, I've only known him for 2 years, and I just recently got in touch with him. Last year ish, maybe a little bit more. Then I guess his Facebook got hacked and he reached out to me again. You know, but I still respect him. You know, if he thinks that straight men sending a bulge with a shirtless torso to another dude still makes you straight, then that's his opinion. I'm going to say differently otherwise. I'm not going to say it out loud, but in the back of my head, and I'm pretty sure in the back of your head, you know, we all know what's up. And this one dude, alpha male looking guy, tattoos, biceps and shoulders, you know, I guess you could call him the an Ed Hardy model, you know. Dated a trans woman, swears up and down that he's not gay because the title is trans woman. But I mean, we all know we're not stupid, you know. So I think trans, and this is just my opinion, I think trans people, they want to be accepted, and half of their mission is to convince you that I mean, people I mean, it's no longer the 1950s, so you know, for the most part, you know, people respect other people. You know, normally it's the older people that were born in the 40s or 50s and grew up in that time that won't accept that people are weird, so to say. You know, kind of like um old voters, you know, like there are some people who vote, there are some people who don't vote, but people that vote for a president or a governor or whatever faithfully are the older people over the age of 60, because that's just what they do. You know, those are the people that aren't really that accepting, you know. So when it comes to trans, you know, at first it was wanting to be accepted, then we accept them. Now it's you're transphobic if you don't want to date us. Any woman is not obligated to date me. I've been rejected so many times in my life. So many times. Um but they weren't obligated to date me. I'm not going to call them racist, you know, because some admit it because, you know, I was black and, you know, their family doesn't want mixed race babies. Some of it was because I was short, even though I'm 5'9", and I would like to say that's probably the average height of most men. You know, some say it's because I was skinny, like back in 2007 to I want to say 2000 and like very early 2010, I was extremely skinny. You know, all I wore was Hollister and Abercrombie and Fitch. And during that peak season of being a prep, you know, if you wasn't skinny, you're not fitting in those clothes. And it was this one girl, I was brand new. I took a summer course right after high school. I took a summer course, and you know, I asked this girl out, and she said that I was too skinny. So, um, that's when I decided to put on some pounds. I kind of regret it now because now it's hard to get it off, but still, you know, I wasn't her type because I was skinny. No one is obligated to date me because I'm just not their type for whatever reason. You know, then you have, and it's not just the trans thing either. You know, it's never mind. I don't want to get into it because then I would be fat phobic. But like I said, people have their type. I have a preference, but I'm not gonna make it a Bible. You know what I mean? I will still accept you as who you are, but you know, you just can't force or convince someone to send nudes to another dude or to date a trans woman. So I didn't mean to make this video so long, but here we are. Happy New Year.